Everybody stay calm.
You talking to me?
What? No.
That is one big pile of shit.
Hello.
Hey, does this Coke smell funny?
Oh, fuck. What's the procedure? Stay calm. Oh, my God.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
You're goddamn right.
Annyeong, it's Peej,
Hey, this is Al.
and welcome to Are You Still Watching, the show where we are still watching, and how dare you even ask? Where we're watching everything that's available for streaming right now with you, and we're going to let you know what's worth checking out.
And hey, if you want to check out great movies and TV shows every single week on your favorite streaming services, don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below and turn on those notifications. Hey, Pat.
Hey, Al.
Hey, I got a joke for you this week.
Okay, what is it?
Are you ready for it?
I'm ready.
Did you hear about the Scarecrow who won the award?
I didn't, no.
They said he was outstanding in his field.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
That's good. That was a good joke, Al.
Was it actually a good joke or was it bad?
No, it wasn't. But anyways, let's get into today's episode where we're going to talk about Oscars, the Academy Awards, specifically Best Picture winners. The Academy Awards is a celebration that happens every year that's been going on since 1929 to celebrate this year's Best in Film. The Best Picture Award is the most prestigious award of that presentation, and since 1929, there have been over 530 nominees and 52 winners. This episode is structured around that theme, and we are going to be reviewing the Best Picture winner for this year, which was Parasite. I watched it this weekend. I know Al did too.
Mm-hmm.
I've got my review. He's got his review. We'll
Hell
see.
yeah, brother.
And then we're going to get into the Mount Rushmore of Best Picture winners. So this is kind of like our creme de la creme episode, best of the best. If you don't like what's on our list, you got to be
Go
crazy.
fuck yourself.
Whoa, that's a little hard. But anyways, and then after that, we've got some trivia, and then we're going to send you guys home with something to watch for this week. But first, before we get to that, we've got some news.
All right, so I got a couple more pieces of news for you this week, but obviously not too much new stuff happening in the world with the whole COVID shutdown. So basically all of my news is about delays. The movies is not the only place that is getting hit with delays. The streaming services are getting hit with delays too, because they can't film their original shows that they're trying to put out. So Netflix has a whole slew, like 20 programs that they're delaying, which I didn't even know Netflix had that many new programs that they're developing at once, but they actually do. And two of them in particular, I just wanted to run by you.
Okay.
What do you think about these delays? Do these break your heart, or do you not give a shit about Stranger Things? Stranger Things season 4 and The Witcher season 2, both delayed pretty far, like a year.
Okay. Witcher, I don't care about at all.
Okay. Did you watch it?
I watched a couple episodes. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't get into it.
I hated The Witcher.
Okay.
I thought it was a stupid show. People acted like it. No way, dude. No.
It's very popular right now. But yeah, so Witcher, don't care about, is the wrong podcast for The Witcher, apparently.
Yes, The Witcher is
Stranger
not
Things.
my cup of tea.
I watch Stranger Things. I'm not like the biggest fan in the world.
Yeah.
But I like it. I've watched every season and I've liked every season. I thought the second season was the best. Third season, second best. First season, third best.
Okay. But I thought the first like 5 minutes of the first season, when Will gets like attacked by the monster, and it's legitimately scary. I thought that was like the best scene in the whole show.
The best part.
Can't believe how much they nailed it. But I agree with you. Season 2 is the best.
Yeah, but I thought they just put out a new trailer. I figured they already filmed everything, or maybe it's just a little tease.
Maybe it's like reshoots they need to do that they really got to wait. It's put off till 2021 now. It's going to be about a year.
2021?
Yeah.
I do know, what's his name? He's back and he's alive and he's in Russia. He's in some gulag camp. Totally blanking on his name right now, but
the sheriff.
Yeah, like the main guy.
David Harbour. Yeah, whoever.
Yeah.
I feel like an idiot for not knowing.
Hopper. His name's Hopper.
Hopper.
Right?
Okay, we knew that the whole time. We're just gonna in post. We're gonna cut it down so nobody knows that we don't know this guy's name. It is Hopper.
But yeah, so I don't know. How do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, I really wanted to hear what you thought about The Witcher. I would have been shocked and disappointed if you liked The Witcher. I think
I liked it.
I want to get my
considering all the
opinion
other
out
stuff
there.
I don't like.
I love Marvel. I liked Game of Thrones until they ruined it in season 8. Like, I'm into that stuff, but The Witcher just like, what the fuck? I think you're living in denial. It's kind of like people who think The Phantom Menace was a great movie. Like, you just have to understand, if you like it, that's fine. It's not that well made, man. It doesn't look that good. It doesn't play that good. It's just a fantasy, you know?
It's just not my cup of tea, personally.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of just middle of the road. But Stranger Things is like something special. I do like Stranger Things. And also it has kind of like a place in my heart for being like Netflix's first actual awesome show.
Yeah.
Like Netflix I never saw as a content creator until Stranger Things.
I can see that.
I hope season 4 is better than season 3 though, because if it's worse, then the show's on a bad course.
I agree. I thought the production was amazing.
Yeah.
And it's like, you gotta do something. You gotta do more than that.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Like, hey, you guys got a giant monster and everything. Like, there's definitely a lot to work with there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot to work with.
Okay, here's my second piece of news. So this one is movie theater related, but it's kind of significant. AMC Theaters is currently at risk of filing for bankruptcy.
Ooh.
AMC Theaters.
I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't like it either. And I really don't want the movie theater to go away.
I mean, like, that's the best theater that there is.
Yeah.
And if that goes away, what do we have? Regal?
Regal? Damn it. Well, I have a nice little local movie theater actually, right down the street from where I live. It's like this 100-year-old theater. It's little tiny
gorgeous
rooms, not too many people in there, but yeah, I love it. It has like a charm to it. So I favor those movie theaters, but obviously like for the industry, AMC has to exist.
Supporting local biz.
I'm such a good Samaritan when it comes to this sort of thing.
Yeah, so we need to reward AMC for doing the right thing and making their movie theaters into the best viewing experience, which in my opinion, they are.
They do crush
it. It's like a couch. You're sitting on a reclinable couch. You have plenty of room. It's amazing. It's everything I want. I'm a tall guy. I'm like
AMC
6'3".
is a first-class movie theater. And for a chain that big, it's pretty impressive.
Very impressive. So AMC, stay around. We're rooting for you here on Are You Still Watching Pod. If you need some subscribers or whatever, we'll do our part.
We'll give you one. We're not going to individually subscribe to your channel, AMC, but
sorry,
they just post the commercials that they play before the movie, like the cell phone turn off commercial.
I always thought when I was younger,
Coca-Cola commercial.
Why don't they force everybody into the theater like a half hour beforehand, lock the doors, and just make us watch ads, and then the movie's free? Why don't they do that? Now they just do it and charge us.
What if it was voluntary? You show up and you stay for a certain amount of ads.
Yeah, if you don't want to pay.
You get a free movie.
All right, we'll work on that.
Yeah, that's going to get them out of bankruptcy. I'm positive.
Definitely. All right, any more news for the day?
No, that's it.
Okay, cool. I'm glad because I'm excited to get to this review.
I'm
really am
fucking fired up right now.
So the movie is Parasite. It's streaming right now on Hulu. If you have not seen Parasite, we're going to provide spoilers.
Stop this video.
Yeah, go watch it.
If you haven't seen the movie
Hulu right now. If you don't have Hulu, text me, because if you're watching this, we're probably friends anyways, and I'll give you my login.
Yes, and if you will not like this episode very much if you spoil the movie Parasite for yourself.
True.
Go watch this movie on your own, please.
You still can watch this episode if you haven't seen Parasite. Just skip this
right
time.
ahead to the Rushmore.
Yes. Skip to the Rushmore. Yeah. Awesome. So Parasite, it came out last year, 2019. It's 2 hours and 12 minutes, and it was directed by Bong Joon-ho. It stars Kang Ho Song, Sun Kyun Lee,
Director Bong,
and So Dam Park. The synopsis is the Kims, who are an extremely poor South Korean family, con their way into the lives of the Parks. The Parks are an extremely wealthy family who live in the coolest house ever. Each member of the Kim family deceives their way in, like the brother who gets hired to tutor the Park's daughter, the sister who gets hired to be the son's art therapy teacher, the dad who gets hired to be Mr. Park's driver, or the mom who gets hired to be the Park's housekeeper. The dynamic between the Kim family is light, fun, and really carries the movie early on, I think. But soon enough, their schemes start to unravel when the Park family comes home early one day when the Kims are out of their characters. They also happen to be in the midst of a really bizarre fight between the former housekeeper and the former housekeeper's husband, who have been secretly living in the bomb shelter under the house for years. The Kims momentarily escape the situation unfazed, but it soon erupts when a knife fight breaks out the next day, ending in blood and death.
Wow.
Talk to me.
And, hey, I know obviously we told everybody just skip this if you haven't seen the movie. If you're this far already,
that's the movie.
You just got some spoilers. You're a fucking idiot. But I gotta say, like, you know, that the synopsis of the movie, no matter what kind of synopsis you're gonna give, it just doesn't do Parasite justice. Because this movie was so good, just the treatment of a simple story in an extremely refined way. Like, they nailed it. So I think that if you give a simple synopsis to somebody, they might not understand just like quite a roller coaster ride that this movie really was. This
Definitely.
movie was absolutely insane from start to finish.
100%. I started watching this movie, so I this rarely happens to me, but I love when it does. That I sat down to watch this movie with zero to no idea what it was about,
Yes.
genre,
Yes.
or anything. I was pretty certain that it was about a virus or something.
Yeah. Yeah, like it was going to be some
So-
sort of scary movie or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then I started watching it and I go, oh, is this a comedy? You know, the beginning is so
Yes.
fun and light,
And
you're like,
it was hilarious. This is
Yeah,
one of the
it's so
funniest
funny.
movies I
The
saw
dad,
all year.
oh.
I was dying the whole time.
yeah, so you can't figure out, and then you're like, oh, it's just going to turn into a horror movie, but you're like,
Yeah.
no, this is just a good con movie, and who doesn't love a
Yes.
good con movie?
And you know what?
Um,
Like, I think that the movie did this incredible job of making a commentary on social inequality.
Oh, definitely.
And my favorite part of how this movie did it was that, like, no one was bad, no one was good, no one was stupid, no one was smart. Like, the rich people were super naive, and the broke Kim family was like super cunning, but it wasn't like they were outwitting each other. And it wasn't
No.
like they were getting unlucky or dumb lucky or anything like that. They were just all victims of circumstance. They kind of had a variety of characters and groups that were set up to go in one direction, and the movie was just all those stories colliding at once. And it was incredible. And it made me think so much after I turned the movie off, which is one of my favorite things that a movie can do. I couldn't stop thinking about, like, man, I mean, the Kims were kind of fucked from the start, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, they start the movie in absolute poverty, and similar to the last movie we watched, Slumdog Millionaire. I didn't really know like what the circumstances were like in South Korea, and it was definitely interesting to see. Wow, this is kind of what life might be like, and this is, you know, how bad poverty can get, where you keep the windows open so you get some free, you know, bug fumigation.
Yeah.
Like, that was crazy.
Yeah. And they handled
I
it so
loved that
lightly
beginning.
too, though. They were still joking
Yeah.
around. Like,
Yeah, and you
I
really
never
like
felt
the family.
depressed, but I felt for them. You know?
Definitely. It
Not
seems
a
like
sad
even though they're
movie.
going through hell, they're together, they're happy,
Yeah, they had
You
such
know.
a strong will, such likable
Very-
characters they were.
very strong unit. And like you said, the movie is almost like two movies. The first part is like a light comedy. The
Yes.
colors are very striking, and visually
My
it's
God.
very appealing.
The visuals in this film were just like out of this world.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and like you said, it is kind of like two movies. They reveal the man in the basement an hour into the movie. Which
Yeah.
up until then, the whole movie's about this one thing, and it's mostly about inequality and how this poor family has to con a rich family, and it does it in a
Mhm.
hilarious way. And then the second half of the movie just like takes it. A lot of people say that this movie has like a twist in it. That's what I've heard about this movie, even though I didn't hear much. I heard, oh, it has a twist. I don't think so much of a twist that the movie
Yeah,
has,
it's a twist.
so much as just you can't anticipate where the movie's going to land.
Absolutely.
You wouldn't know where
We
it's
talk-
going, and it just ends
Yeah,
up there.
we talked about last week about how the best movies are spontaneous, sporadic. You can't predict where they're going.
Yes.
This movie, come on.
Yes.
If you could predict this movie,
Yeah.
come over to my house. We need to pick some lottery numbers.
Can we talk about some specifics?
Yes, please.
I'll talk about a few things that were, like, to me, hilarious. Because the comedy, to me, was the thing that still stands out the most. I can't stop thinking, dude, these people, everyone involved was hilarious. In this movie, like, one of the funny things that I liked was how the dogs kept multiplying. Did you notice early in the movie there's one dog walking around the whole time? And then out of nowhere, with
Oh.
no announcement, a second dog is just around the house. And then later
No, I
there's
didn't really
3
notice
dogs. They're just being more and more dogs for no reason. It was so funny. Like these rich people are just so rich you can't even keep up with all the things they have. They got dogs walking around.
Yeah.
And 2 of my favorite characters were the rich mom and Da Song.
Was that Kevin?
No, Da Song was the little kid.
Oh, yeah.
The little kid who draws,
Yeah.
who saw the
That was
ghost
crazy.
man.
Yeah.
I love how everybody thinks he's crazy, but like he's actually just correct. He saw the guy.
Yeah.
And then the painting that he does, the freaky weird painting in the beginning of the movie, was the guy from the basement.
Yeah.
And Da Song like keeps trying to warn them about it, but the parents are so naive. The mom's just like, "Oh, he saw a ghost."
Yeah. Yeah, that was
Oh
crazy.
my
I was
God.
wondering, like, when she dropped that line, there were a couple of throwaway lines that if you picked up on, like, that one, you could kind of see, oh, is this going somewhere?
A lot of tiny
There's one in
things.
particular where Mr. Park was saying what he didn't like about the old housekeeper.
Mhm.
He was like, I loved her, but she ate for 2.
Yes, I picked up on that one too, and I loved that. Yeah, dude, that movie had sometimes I've heard people say about Disney movies that Disney never wastes a line when they write a script. Every single line of dialogue is gonna go somewhere, or characterizing or changing the story. And this movie did exactly that. They totally nailed every line of the movie. Has something, so you can't leave for 5 minutes without missing out on something good.
I
in
agree.
this film.
And you definitely can't because it's on subtitles. So if you go to the kitchen,
Yeah, that's true. But
you're
the
not picking up
acting
what's
was
happening.
incredible. Like I didn't give a shit about the subtitles, and sometimes I do. But in this
No, I
movie,
didn't.
like
I didn't either. The
who
best
cares?
movies with subtitles, you don't even think about the
Right.
subtitles. You just immerse yourself in it, and it's just a movie.
The-
Bad movies with subtitles, I hear you on that one.
that's a bad book.
Yeah, agreed. So I go through my regular, what I do for movies. Do I regret watching it? No, absolutely not. Will I watch it again? Yes, I can guarantee you I'm going to watch this movie again.
100%.
I'm already kind of thinking about it.
Yeah, me too. I want to
might
watch it
this week.
quickly so that I can pick up little
Yeah.
secrets that I missed.
Yeah, and I do recommend this movie. So those are the 3 things I look for in a movie to see if it's good. And it checks all those boxes for me. In fact, I can't wait to watch it again. Like I said, I'm going to watch it this week because all I can think about is how the dad, Mr. Kim, ends
my
up
God.
killing Mr. Park at the end. And the whole movie, like, he's one of the favorite characters. He's
I
funny,
know.
he's light, he keeps the beginning of the part together.
Right.
And you like him, and you kind of like Mr. Park too. And you don't think
Yeah.
that there's like a
And
terrible
even
relationship
Mr. Kim
between them.
admits that the Parks are nice people.
Yeah.
It's wonderful that even the bad guys in the movie who you're following, who you originally thought were the good guys,
Mm-hmm.
they're not so bad. They admit that they know the family's nice and they don't want to really hurt them. They're hoping to be benign. It's just
Yeah,
incredible, this morality.
And with all that, even when he stabs him, you're like, okay, based on what I just saw and the beautiful directing from that scene, I can kind of see why he did that. Like,
Dude, yes. And I think
and
that...
like he says later, he's like, oh, it was like a dream. It was filmed that way, and I felt that,
Oh, it really was. Actually, and I love villains in movies that you can sympathize with. Like the Joker, you
Yeah.
can kind of hear what he says and his evil plans, and you're like, oh, I get this guy. He's making sense.
Mhm.
Mr. Kim kind of turns out to be the villain at the end of the movie, and he is like so sympathizable. I don't even know if that's a word, but like I was on
Sympathetic.
board with everything that Mr. Kim was going for. And even when he stabbed him, I was like, well, I didn't want Mr. Park to die. I liked Mr. Park, but I get
yeah,
where
he was a
Mr.
good
Kim's
guy too,
coming
yeah.
from, man. He has to, he has a tough life. He works his hardest, and then one day he just wakes up in a homeless shelter again, covered in
Yeah, and
sewage.
he smells like shit.
He tried his best, and you sympathize with him. And the
All
ending,
I could think of is if, the ending. All I could think about was the ending.
yes.
If Mr. Kim smelled like shit before he sat in that basement for
Oh,
40 years or
fuck.
whatever, that hug at the end with his son, ooh.
Actually, so I wanted to talk about the ending before I give you my number on this movie.
Okay.
The ending scene I think was the best scene. That's the scene that has stuck with me the most. I love a few scenes in the movie. The one where they run down the hill during the huge rainstorm and
Yeah.
have to like scale literally back
Those
down
ladders,
to their
that was very
place
cool.
in society.
Yeah.
That was so
right?
cool. And
There's so much like layered symbolism in
Yeah.
here. It's oozing out.
And then my second favorite scene was the scene where the
You're going to spoil my favorite scene, aren't you? I know
Okay.
you are.
It's where the conning, no, this is my second favorite scene, is where the conning daughter, she says to the rich mom, like, did something happen to Da Song 1 year ago? Because she knows already. And the camera pans around the wife's like head, and she's like, her acting was just so hilarious in that scene. And then my favorite scene of all, the scene when the camera is kind of just panning as Mr. Kim escapes down to the basement, and it all is wrapping up. Like, that scene
you're
just
not
blew
gonna steal
my
my
mind.
favorite scene.
I'm glad they didn't have a happy ending. Like, I'm glad it kind of ended up that they suffered the
Agreed.
consequences of their decisions.
Mm-hmm. My favorite scene was during the flood when, and yeah, you touched on a little how like the rich family, like it's raining cats and dogs, and they're like, oh, wow, wasn't that lovely, you know? And then it's literally immersing these poor people's lives.
It's inescapable.
Exactly. And then my favorite scene was when everything is flooding in their house and the daughter goes on the toilet, grabs her smokes, and she's just like, fuck the world.
Oh,
Lights up. And the sewage is coming out of the toilet, and she's just like, get me out of here. I'm just like, that scene where she's on the toilet and there's sewage coming out and she's smoking the cigarette. I mean, that if that scene is not gifable, I don't know what is. That is definitely like the house is on fire meme.
Yeah,
you know?
like I don't give a shit right now.
Everything is fine. Exactly.
Yes, that's true. Dude, so many iconic scenes. Can we give a couple numbers on this movie? I'm very excited to hear what you're thinking.
Yeah, so obviously it won Best Picture. I asked a lot of people what they thought about this movie, and I feel like a lot of people were influenced by the fact that it won Best Picture. So I asked people for their ratings, and they rated it lower because of the high expectations, which I can see. I didn't fall into that trap, but I'll let you know what I scored it. Rotten Tomatoes, the critics did 99. I mean, that's pretty...
There's always going to be a critic who says, no, 99 is the highest you can go on Rotten Tomatoes.
Audience did 90. My Peej-o-meter, I'm going to put it at 87.
87. Dude, you are a tough critic. You're even lower than the audience on Rotten Tomatoes?
I am, yeah.
Okay, let me give you my... I guess I'm going to be a pretty far off of yours. So as soon as that movie ended, I'm like, dude, this is an A+ movie. Like, this is to me, this is as good as it gets. It's everything I want. It did a lot of, I mean, it made me laugh. It made me cry. It made me scared. Like, it made me excited. The music was awesome. The visuals were awesome. I think this movie nailed every aspect. And to me, I didn't even like have a slow moment in the film. Not once was I like, oh, is this going to get along to the next part?
It's almost over.
It always flew through every single minute. And I wanted to bring a couple cons to the table when we reviewed the movie, but I honestly don't have any cons. It's not even like I loved it so much I can't nitpick it. Even if I try to nitpick, I can't come up with cons. This movie's so fucking good, and I am the type of guy who gives 10s, and I'm giving Parasite a 10. It's a 10 out of 10. You will not hate this movie. You will like this movie if you watch it. Go watch it right now. If we just spoiled the whole thing, I hate you. You missed out on a 10.
Wow. You can't get any higher than that, Al.
You can't go any higher in my books. This thing is... Okay. I think years from now, I'll still enjoy Parasite, and I'll look back at it with my favorite movies ever. I'll look back at it with The Dark Knight and the SpongeBob movie, and they'll be the holy trinity of my favorite movies.
Quite so eclectic, Al. Anyways, so we're not the only ones that thought it was good. Although I think we might be the only ones that think it's the best movie ever made, Al.
I don't think it was the best movie ever made. I just think that it was
it's a 10
flawless,
out of 10 for you,
it's a 10.
so I don't know. But anyway, so the budget was $11.5 million. Any guesses towards the gross, Al?
Oh, I mean, dude, a South Korean movie that won the Oscars in America, this thing's got to be putting up 300 million?
Close. 254 million.
Damn. How much is that net?
That's a lot, but I'm not a math major, so you won't hear me give an answer.
I'm not going to take a stab at that.
It's currently streaming on Hulu. That's where we watched it, and that's where we encourage you guys to watch it as well. If hopefully you already watched.
Yeah, I guess you're kind of screwed if we just ruined one of the funnest movies I've watched in years.
Definitely.
All right, well, on that note, let's get out of here and move on to our next segment, Rushmore. All right, so for today's Rushmore, it's pretty straightforward. Me and Peej are going to be giving you our top 4 picks for our favorite Best Picture winners of all time. This isn't the
All
greatest
time.
Best Picture winners of all time. Don't expect Citizen Kane. I'm talking about our favorites, the movies that we think you could watch right now and enjoy as well. All right, Pete, do you want to give me your Rushmore first?
If you can handle it, I guess. Yeah, sure.
Well, I think your Rushmore beat mine last week, to be honest. So I'm kind of just
my
nervous.
Rushmore is going to beat yours every
All
week.
right.
So this is going to be a good indication of that. So my number one, 1957. Throwing it back here, letting the old timers
Okay.
know that we know our stuff. So
Yeah, we're
Bridge
learning.
Over the River Kwai, 1957. One of the greatest movies ever made. It's free on Crackle. Watch it right now. It's free.
Oh, it's
One
free
of the
on
best movies
Crackle. A shout out to Crackle. I never
Yeah,
thought
you gotta
I'd
watch.
hear that.
You gotta watch some ads, but it's fucking worth it. Anyways, next one, Lawrence of Arabia, another old time movie. It's like
Cool.
3.5 hours long. 1962, phenomenal. You might not be able to watch it for 3.5 hours. I watched it over like a couple days.
Yeah,
But even if you don't like it, the cinematography is worth it in itself.
it's like a piece of history to watch almost.
100%. My number 3, I couldn't write this list without including The Godfather. Godfather 1, Godfather
Okay.
2, they both won. I don't really care. I
Which
love
one
them
if you had to
both for
choose
different
one over
reasons.
the other?
2.
Two.
So that you can have both De Niro and Pacino.
Mhm.
I mean, yeah, 2. But either one is great. And for my last spot, this was very tough. Very tough. But I had to go with the hometown hero, The Departed.
The Departed. We're both from Boston, so I almost had The Departed on my list. That's an honorable mention for me. I do love that fucking movie, though. That movie is the movie that set Boston on this like stage for modern movies. Because everybody knows all the Boston actors now, but that movie put them all in one box.
Yeah, it
And just
did.
sent them out to the world with their weird accents and
Yeah, so
crushed
I
it.
think The Departed was close to a perfect movie for me. I watched
Yeah.
it multiple times
Yeah.
in the cinema. Like you said, it's Boston. It's quintessential Boston. So like I know where most of the scenes were shot. Like I've walked past them. I've been there before. So it was like
Yeah.
it was awesome for me. I've heard about Whitey Bulger my whole life, and I've always been interested.
Yeah. There's-
Here's
there's like nothing more fun than watching a movie that was filmed where you live. Every 10 minutes, I went there. That's how I was when I first moved out to Boston with The Departed. I'm like, oh
Yeah,
my God,
I was-
that's the steps.
oh my god, that's where Leonardo DiCaprio got his drugs from.
Yeah, that's where he got shot in the
forget
face.
her yeah.
All right, for my list, I went with more modern movies. I didn't do any real classics. I guess one of them is a real classic. I did The Godfather 1.
Okay.
So, I mean, same as you, like, if you're a movie person and you're looking for like one of the best movies of all time, The Godfather, you watch it and you're just like, this is definitely one of the best movies ever made. The Godfather is definitely a 10 for me as well. My second one, I'm going to put Parasite. I'm trying to spread the news, people.
Wow.
Parasite is
Okay.
a fantastic movie. Everyone should watch
Okay.
it. Third movie, for me, Forrest Gump. Because that's just one of
Wow,
my
okay.
favorite movies ever. I can watch that movie like 3 times a year, man. And
Mhm.
then my last movie, a sleeper
I know what
hit.
it is. I know what it is.
No way. No Country for Old Men.
Oh wow, I didn't know what it
Heyo.
was.
Have
Wow,
you seen
okay.
No Country for Old Men?
I have, yes.
That movie knocked my socks off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that movie was a lot of fun. I don't think it was the best of any Best Picture winner that ever won, but for me, if I'm going to choose 4 Best Pictures to watch this weekend, No Country for Old Men is one of them. When you
Okay.
get a chance to see it, see it.
Mhm.
To the viewers, not to
Um,
you, of course.
Yeah, I think it's on Netflix too. And I also
I think
forgot
so,
to
too.
mention, I think The Departed is on Netflix too. I'm pretty sure.
Oh.
And Lawrence of Arabia is on YouTube TV, which also I think means it's available streaming. Maybe Turner Classics. I forget.
Oh my goodness. Well,
Um,
if you want to get the streaming services for every single movie that we list right now, check out the end of the episode. In the last 30 seconds, I'll list all of them for you. You can go there every week and just get a hot list and comment if you agree with our Rushmores or if you completely disagree.
Whose is better?
Please let us know whose is better and who just made some stupid choices.
Yeah, let Al know he's an idiot for not including Gladiator on his list. I can't believe he didn't pick Gladiator.
Let PJ know what you think, what you really think about him giving Parasite under a 9. Ooh, that hurts my heart.
I think most people are going to agree with that, to be honest with you.
Wow.
I do want to give a couple quick honorable mentions because it was so hard. I mean, this is la creme de la creme, the best picture winners. Slumdog Millionaire, which we talked about last.
Of course, yeah, it was a great
Hurt
one.
Locker, The Gladiator. Come on, Gladiator was on my list, and I moved it off for The Departed.
Okay.
Just because I love The Departed, but come on, Gladiator.
I agree. Gladiator's awesome.
Gladiator.
Yes.
American Beauty, Titanic. Shout out to Wings. I don't know if anyone watching this podcast has seen Wings. It was made in 1927, but you've almost undoubtedly heard of it because you've seen The Aviator with Leonardo DiCaprio, where they show them making that movie as Howard Hughes was the producer of it.
Oh,
so that
wow.
was made in 1927, and it won Best Picture in 1929. So it was the first one to win Best Picture. Also, a couple others shout outs. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Schindler's List, and Argo.
Nice. I had to give an honorable mention to The Departed, of course. Moonlight. I really liked Moonlight. Came out a few years ago, and
I hated
that's
Moonlight.
A good one to stream.
Hated it.
Well, if you're kind of a thinking man like me, it's a thinker's movie. And a third movie, I don't know if you've seen this one or if you fucking hate it. Birdman
Probably.
or The Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance.
I
don't
seen
think
Birdman.
it was actually the best picture
gimmicky.
movie. Really?
I thought it just won because it was interesting, like the way they did it all in like one shot.
Yes.
But I didn't think it was the best picture by a long shot.
I think the reason I had to put Birdman on honorable mention is because I wanted to say I don't think it was a best picture winner. Like in my books, it's not the best picture. But if you haven't seen it and you like movies, check it out. It is neat. And it won because of its creativity. So if you're looking to see an out-of-the-box movie, it's a good one to kind of get you thinking about where movies can go and what kind of things they can comment on.
Agreed. Well, since Al just embarrassed himself with his Mount Rushmore, I'm about to embarrass him myself with our next segment, which is trivia.
All right.
So this is a segment where we do two trivias and a lie, or two truths and a lie. You may be familiar with this game. I'm going to hit Al with 3 pieces of trivia. 2 of them are accurate. 1 of them I made up. We'll see if you can pick out which one is accurate and which one is not.
Easy.
And they all center around the film that we just reviewed, Parasite.
Okay.
So the first piece of trivia is the Parks House, which is actually located outside of Busan, South Korea, was designed by architect Namgoon Heyeja. The house is part of an 8-unit project that was featured on Netflix's World's Most Extraordinary Homes.
That was an extraordinary home.
It was. This is the first film not in the English language to win Oscar for Best Picture. After being released by Hulu, which is currently streaming, it received backlash from users on Twitter for its subtitles. Hulu responded by tweeting out, "If you don't want to read the subtitles, you can learn Korean." Now, 2 of those pieces of trivia are accurate, and 1 of them is inaccurate. Al,
All right.
what do you think it is?
I have absolutely nothing to go on here. I have no clue, but here's the evidence I do have. 1, if Hulu has a good social media manager, that would be a hilarious thing to tweet to a bunch of people complaining about subtitles in a great movie. So I hope that's true. I'm just going to hope it's true and believe it. And the second thing I'm going on is Netflix is pumping out fucking documentaries and house hunters and modeling shows and like a fucking new show every other week. So I totally wouldn't doubt if this show was on, if this house was on some sort of Netflix house hunters show. Since I can believe those 2, I don't even have a clue all the Best Picture winners. I don't know if there was a non-English Best Picture winner in history, but I did make a Rushmore of them. And I don't remember seeing any winners that weren't originally in English. So I'm going to say the second one. This is the first non-English movie to win Best Picture. I'm going to say that's false.
That is false. That's what you're saying?
Yes.
No, you're wrong.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
So I made up the first
best.
one. I made up the first one. The house, awesome as it is, was completely on a stage. So that house did not exist beforehand. It is a combination of green screens, and they just made it on a sound log.
Wow, that does explain a lot. I kept commenting on the house when I was watching the movie. I'm like, man, this house is incredible and like so cool. Cinematic.
Yeah. So that was shot on a sound stage.
Huh.
Also, the Kim's house was shot on a sound stage as well.
Oh, wow.
And it doubled as a water tank. So that's why that's how they were able to flood it.
Oh, cool. I like that.
Right? Yeah, kind of interesting.
All right, well, you fooled me this week, but next week, you're going down. Let's get into some recommendations. Before we leave you guys for the weekend, we like to drop off a couple movies or TV shows that we recommend you watch, or movies or TV shows that we're going to be watching next week, and we're curious to see how they go, and we'd love to talk about them more. So I'm going to give you a couple movies that I'm interested in, and then Peej will give you a couple of his. Peej, this week in my queue, I'm going to go for another subtitled movie because I'm kind of in that mode now.
Okay.
I've heard mixed things about The Platform on Netflix. It's a Spanish film, and I can't tell if it's good or bad because one of my friends that I respect a lot told me that it was a pretty good movie, and then another friend of mine told me that it sucked, but they both agreed that the ending was pretty weird. So I'm interested, what happened at the end that turned you off? I'm going to go watch The Platform, I think, this week. And
okay. I'm interested in that as well. I also saw somebody I don't like on Facebook told me it was very bad. So I want to watch it and like it.
Yes, that's kind of where I'm coming from too. My recommendation is going to be The Hateful Eight, Quentin Tarantino. I love Tarantino. You love Tarantino. You want to watch a good movie? Tarantino movies tend to be in the back of the streaming services because they're not other than Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, all the rest of them are pretty old. So you're never going to see it on page one, but look for The Hateful Eight on Netflix. It's a good Tarantino film, I think. I think all of his films are good.
Yeah. I mean, it is on the lower half of my top 5 Tarantino movies, but that's
not saying anything bad.
Yeah.
I think Tarantino's worst movie is a good movie.
Anyways, so I want to also leave you guys with something in my queue that I'm watching for the first time, and also something that I've seen before that I know that you guys are gonna like. So something that it's in my queue. I'm actually watching it right now. I'm about 4 episodes deep, and I'm gonna finish it hopefully this week. It's The Mandalorian on Disney Plus. Big Star Wars fan. I'm liking it so far a lot. I like it that it's the Viper too from Game of Thrones. That was my favorite character.
Have you seen how they film The Mandalorian?
No, not at all.
You have got to check this out. They've got this 360-degree circular room, and all the walls are these super HD LED screens. So when he's on the desert planet, when he's flying through space, that's a real model spaceship he's in. So he's in a physical, practical effect for the spaceship. And they're not green screening space flying behind him. It's an actual projector screen just showing it. And the way they got the LEDs programmed, reflect real light off of things. You got to check the behind the scenes out of that show when you get the chance.
It's very interesting because that was one of the big criticisms with the first 2 prequel movies. It's this whole thing was shot on a green screen.
Yeah,
I don't want to watch a movie like that. But I love The Mandalorian so far. The cinematography, everything looks great. So I'm very interested in that.
Yeah.
Something that I have seen before that I know that you guys are going to like because I'm going to recommend it, and we're going to talk about it next week in next week's episode, is the movie War Dogs. This movie stars Jonah Hill. It's currently streaming on HBO. It came out a couple years ago. I don't know, maybe 5 years ago. I have no idea.
You know what, Peej? Can I let you know, how can you leave my man Miles Teller out of this?
Oh,
it doesn't only
Teller,
star Jonah Hill. Miles Teller. I actually really like that guy.
Yeah. I'm just getting more familiar with him. I usually don't watch teenage heartthrob movies, but maybe that's up your alley. Anyways,
okay.
So we're going to watch War Dogs over the weekend, and then we're going to circle back next week and review it. It's going to fit in perfectly with our theme of the week, which is smuggling movies. Al and I are going to review the movie War Dogs, and we're going to give you our top 4 favorite smuggling movies of all time. Could be drugs, could be weapons, could be love. No, you can't smuggle love. That's
No.
universal. Goes across borders.
No.
Anyways, we're gonna watch that. We're gonna review it. We're gonna give our Mount Rushmore and all the normal stuff that we give to you guys every week.
Hell yeah.
Cool.
How are we going to exit this episode?
I don't know.
Should we like fly off and like should we explode?
Wait, hold on. Oh wait, it didn't go.
Should we? Maybe maybe an explosion or something.
My God!